I'm Ted Barton here covering the Junior Grand Prix, but it's such an honor, such a pleasure to bring to you an interview with the current world champion, Ilia Malinin. He's just finished his morning training and he's taking a bit of a break now, so we have him for just a couple of minutes. Ilia, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
Your world changed. You changed the world, really, in Montreal. I remember being there, and I know you had a bit of a challenging time that year to get up to that point, and I'll never forget. The performance was unbelievable, but the moment that you sort of collapsed to the ice, either through exhaustion or pure joy, how has your life changed since that moment?
Even to this day, I'm still trying to take that in, process what happened on those 4 minutes of my whole career. There were so many thoughts and emotions just running through my head after that. I could just not contain it all, and I just collapsed, and I just felt relieved. I felt proud of myself. I felt so much confidence and joy, and it just really helped me, solidify a part in my career as one of the greatest moments of my career.
Yeah, certainly at this point of your career for sure, so maybe there's more to come. Now, I had a really fun interview with your mom and dad, and of course, both skaters, both very accomplished skaters. And I asked them about your start in skating. They said, we really never planned for this to happen. Yeah, we planned for them to learn to skate, obviously, because it was a big part of their life. And so with that in mind, do you remember when you became fully engaged and in love with the sport of figure skating and you wanted to do something special with it? Was there a particular age or a particular event that sort of took you over to the top and said, no, I want to do this?
It was hard to find that time, because at first I was really just, I'm just doing this for fun. I was just like, let's see where this takes me, let's just see how far. And I didn't know my full potential until maybe when I was competing around novice junior area as well. So I would say it's pretty recent. It was I was just kind of for fun trying out, see how it'd take me. And then all of a sudden, I was like, I think I have a lot more potential, and I feel that there's many things that I have not, learned or discovered in myself. And after that, ever since, I've always been trying to find these things or pick them out and kind of build me as a skater. And I'm definitely loving it right now because of how successful it's been for me, and it always gives me the confidence to keep pushing and to be better.
Well, no question. Let's go back a couple years. I think it was 2021, 22 that you finished your junior Grand Prix career. And of course, I had the pleasure to cover you through a number of those competitions. How important was the Junior Grand Prix experience for building the type of skater you are now?
I think that the junior level really starts to show who you can be as a skater. When I was in juniors, I was kind of worried that maybe I'm not as good as the other skaters, or that there might be a time where I'd be like, I won't get there, I won't be there. But I think junior for me was just a time to really just find your base and find who you want to be as a skater. And then from there, just add on different things. For some people, it may be if they want to be a really good jumper. From there, if they find out their jumps are really good and they feel it in their self, then they can just start working on that and then building other things as it goes on. But mainly, the main thing I noticed from that was try not to overthink everything at that moment, because everything is a process and it all takes time. So you really just have to kind of go with the flow and let things happen.
Oh, that's a very good point. You were a natural jumper right off the bat. I mean, seeing you in junior, that was never an issue. You had really good short programs, and you sometimes had challenges in the free program. Maybe, I don't know exactly why, you could explain that, but the juniors probably gave you some experience and, okay, I can do this. Why am I making mistakes in the free program? Tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, I remember that my long program was always the harder program for me. I think maybe just how long it was in a way. It was just kind of all the elements back to back to back. I kind of remember I'd always get ahead of myself and always, kind of think of the element after and not really focus on each element individually. That's kind of one of the tips my parents always give me, is just focus on each element one after the other and try not to get overthink it. Just try not to get ahead of yourself and let things happen. If it's bad, then whatever, you have to move on at that moment and keep going with the program. And I think I've started to master that already, to just take everything nice and slow, one step at a time.
Yeah, what a good message. And you did not have many challenging free programs in your junior, so I don't want anybody to think you did. You had a couple, but you solved that issue quite quickly. Big question here, I'm sure that a lot of folks out there listening to this interview and have wondered around, is that, do you believe that 5 revolutions is possible? And if you do, who do you think will be the first person to do it?
I definitely think it's very possible. I know that with enough training and kind of preparing for it, then I think many skaters could achieve it. You have to really take this a different way. Like, similar to kind of the quad axel, it was, not a lot of people have, attempted it or managed to have successful attempts. So from there, it was kind of like a new thing. And I had to really kind of just think of, how do I manage this, and how do I figure out what will be the best way to either overcome it or, fully rotate it or have a good technique for it. So it really took a lot more mental planning before, I was like, okay, I'm physically ready for this now. I just need to try to go for it.
Well, it's such a good mental or psychological approach to it. That's for sure. Sort of one thing at a time. There are a lot of juniors who will watch this interview, watch you skate, look up at you as the quad god and all of that. But what kind of suggestions would you give, or advice you would give to young juniors watching this, as to what are the priorities in the juniors or in the Junior Grand Prix? What are the types of skills? I don't mean necessarily jumping skills, skating skills, artistic skills, those types of things. Where do you think a lot of their time should be spent in these years in the junior category?
I think I've noticed that a lot of people kind of struggle with the confidence, or kind of that mentality when going on the ice. Is sometimes that, of course, when you're nervous, different people, they'll get tight, they'll feel either loose, they won't feel under their feet in a way. So I think the best thing for them to focus on is kind of that confidence and that really mentality. When you step on the ice, you just have to trust all the training that you've been doing, and trust your team to really help you with whatever it may be, and to just try to attack everything 100%. And I think that's the main thing, is just once you learn that, then everything else will be so much easier for you to accomplish at competitions.
Final point or question, and want to get your feedback on. You were primarily a technician to begin with, but you have created and woven into that technical prowess a beautiful performance level. When did that sort of start create interest for you to get involved in that and try to figure out the more artistic side of skating?
Moreover, I was really so caught up in trying to make sure my jumps were really clean, consistent, and that there be minor mistakes on them, that at some point it was just kind of, I didn't see any progress. So I started to think, maybe I should try to work on this a little more. And of course, that might be a struggle for some people. They don't want to work on something more because it's not their strong spot. So of course, sometimes I think that even now, just like, oh, I don't want to do the spin, I can't do it. But you really just have to overcome that. And the more practice you do, the more it becomes easier, and it becomes muscle memory. And then in the long run, it will become so easy that you don't even have to think about it. It was just I need to start trying to find my own style of skating, and really just dig out there to that creativity, that artistry, and that uniqueness.
So great that you've been so honest with yourself and honest to tell the story that, there's a lot of things you have to learn, and the things that you learn the first are the things that you enjoy the most. But you have to spend the time on the things you don't enjoy. And it's a great message for the young skaters out there. And, Ilia, thank you so much for taking this time. I know you have such a busy schedule to give something back to the juniors and to the Junior Grand Prix. It's been an honor.
Yeah, no, thank you. This was a lot of fun. Again, I used to be a junior skater, so this is a very familiar path for everyone to take, and I think that this will help them, kind of find themselves and see how they can take their skating to a next level.
Thank you so much, Ilia. Men's world champion Ilia Malinin here on the Junior Grand Prix.